were on time way too many times this past few days, so I decided it's time to be late and gay because the chat doesn't need to be looking like they're wrong. The chat needs to be proven right. So, with Ryan's permission, I said, let's wait until 10:03 Central, which I live in the weird time zone, but not as weird as Mountain Time, which Ryan went on a rant about. What's up, Ryan?
Central is, I think actually Central is the perfect time zone, if I'm being honest, even though I'm on Eastern time, because like the late games don't go quite as late. Football games start at noon. Like there's something that's really solid about that. If you can just build your life around when NFL football games start, noon is kind of perfect. 1 o'clock, a little bit weird.
That is strange. That is the most articulate and thoughtful thing you've ever said, actually. I thought you were going to tell me how bad my time zone is.
No, I lived in it for a decent portion of my life.
Central time zone is awesome. It is weird because, like, I'll be like sometimes, like with you, I'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna call Ryan," and you don't answer. I'm like, "What the fuck is he doing at like 12 at night?" Oh, it's actually 1. Never mind.
He might be sleeping. And Jeremy's also lying to all of you, by the way. We did not intentionally try to start late. We were literally fucking screaming at each other, fighting before the stream started to the point where we went late.
That's almost every day we start and argue about some dumb shit. And then we're like, all right, let's start the stream. So that's what we do.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's not just for on camera, everyone. We actually do argue just about retarded shit constantly because that's what dudes do, man. Argue, talk shit, have fun, and then you move on and get the work done. So, but yes, it is Friday. So it is the first Friday of 2025, which could be the greatest stream in the history of this channel. Some say. A lot of people say it, Ryan. A lot of people say it. So I'm not sure who's saying it, but a lot of people are saying it. A lot of people are saying it.
Look at all our African Americans.
Oh, man. But yes, so we got a few things to talk about today. And, of course, we have some super chats. Corn Boy with the 199 super sticker. What's up, Corn Boy? John Ambler says, morning, gentlemen. Well, Jeremy, you already had the gay part down. So props there. Hail, Geeks and Gamers, and the 199. Thank you, John. Chris Coran says, I'm glad Ryan is okay after the Notre Dame win. I did not watch that game, but didn't they have like a quick run of like a bunch of points in a short period of time that turned everything around?
Well, I think the opening, they might have returned the opening kickoff for the second half. Sorry, the second half kickoff, they went up real quick. Look, Georgia was down there starting quarterback, but ultimately I don't find him all that impressive anyway. Notre Dame beat the shit out of him, and they made some big mistakes in crunch time. They were just run the fucking clock down. You know, Georgia went for it on 4th down to try to score that touchdown, didn't get it. They thought they stopped Notre Dame. Notre Dame lines up for a punt, runs everybody off, runs the offense back on, and a Georgia guy jumps off sides. Granted, the Notre Dame wide receiver flinched very noticeably before he jumped offside, so probably should have been a false start. But it doesn't really matter. You can't put yourself in that type of situation needing 2 scores and desperately need to get this stop. But fuck Notre Dame. It pisses me off so much. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And now here we are, the Final Four of the college football playoff. 2 Big Ten teams, 1 SEC team, and 1 independent school.
Yeah, I hate Notre Dame, so I guess we'll see what happens. But it's funny because I know like half the chat has no idea what you're talking about right now.
Probably
like,
more than half.
Probably more. You think? It's at least half for sure. It's at least half. But
I like whenever we talk about sports, you're always gonna have some people. Sports are for fucking losers. Why do you got who fucking cares about sports? It's like, yeah, it's weird that that's the exact same thing that you were told with all your you love Star Wars and Marvel and Lord of the Rings. 1 billion people would tell you the same goddamn thing. I happen to like both sports and nerdy shit.
Yeah, because you never talk bad about people that love Nintendo or Star Wars or nothing like that.
I demonstrated that last night by streaming a Nintendo Switch game.
How'd that go? How'd your stream go?
I don't know why there was like almost 300 people watching at some point. But yeah, it was good. A return to the gaming stream, which is good because I needed to make sure that the channel didn't get demonetized because I haven't done anything on it in a year. But yes, it was good. So we had fun until like 2 hours in, my Streamlabs just crashed, and that was the way the stream ended. So
sounds about right.
I was like, I'm not gonna fucking restart it just to say goodbye. So
yeah,
it was an appropriate way to end.
Ryan on Black Ops 6, that needs to happen this year. So We got to do that. And I still want to do the 24-hour gaming stream in February. 24-hour gaming stream. You don't have to be there the whole 24 hours, Ryan.
I'll play a little bit.
Be there for like 18 of it. It's fine.
Yeah. And I'll play for a little bit.
We'll get Hailstorm to host it.
Yeah, just fucking make Hailstorm host it. People are gonna tune in and be like, "Hey, Geek Gamers said 24-hour stream," and it's just gonna be fucking Jay Hailstorm sounding like he's gonna fucking kill himself the entire time. You and me are gonna be sleeping. We're gonna be like, "Wow, what the fuck is this?"
It should be fun, but yeah, I am working that out. I don't know, sometime in February. Hopefully, we can pull it together, but I want to do a 24-hour gaming stream with the crew. It will be awesome if we're able to pull that together. So time will tell. We got a 50 from Logan Johnson. Hail, boys. Gonna try and see Nosferatu and Sonic 3 this weekend. Today's my Monday, unfortunately, but I hope you and everyone else has a good Friday. Hail the 199 and my fellow iDots. Thank you, Logan. Appreciate that. I've heard good things about Nosferatu. What did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. It's like an incredibly well-made film, from the vibe that they're going to the setting that they put you in, to kind of honoring the story itself and everything. It just, I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I think, oh my God, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. It was really good. It was really good. I like the first 2/3 a little better than I like the last third, when there's still like so much kind of mystery that you don't really understand quite what's going on. I liked that before we kind of got to the finale, but Nosferatu, very good. Robert Eggers has a vision and he sticks to it.
And of course, Sonic 3. I highly recommend Sonic 3. It's just doing really well at the box office. What do you think Sonic 3 is going to do at the worldwide box office after a few weeks, based on the trends that you're seeing right now? What do you think?
I always said that I think they're going to be really happy if it gets to like 500 million plus, and I think it will.
That's going to be huge if it hits 500 million.
Yeah, I think it will be 500 million plus. I think it's tracked now that it's open in some international places. Like obviously, Japan, not going to do well in Japan. Oftentimes when they adapt things like that in Japan, they're like, no, fuck this. But yeah, other than that, like it's doing, I know it opened in Italy recently. It's smashing in Italy. I think it did pretty well in Brazil when it opened. So I think that very feasibly over $500 million is where it's going to end up.
Yep. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that movie does. But yeah, if it hits 500 million, that's a massive win. That'll be the highest grossing film of the trilogy, and it puts him in good position moving forward. So Sonic is crushing it. So happy for that. Thunderstrike says, hail to my Fighting Irish for handling the SEC champs, winning the Sugar Bowl, and moving on in the playoffs. Yeah, we're never going to hear the end of the Notre Dame fans. Never going to happen. So, let's see. Andrew CR for 5,000 CRC. G&G wrestling team name, Too Late Too Gay. Listen, I'm excited we're going to cover wrestling. We're going to cover wrestling here on G&G in 2025. All right. The move to Netflix, I think, is going to be huge. It's going to be a lot more accessible for a lot of people. I think it's going to keep the conversation pretty relevant. And it looks like a lot of the vault stuff's going to be there. So, yeah, it's going to happen. The chat for 10 says, Ryan, Jeremy mentioned that he thinks businesses should have a dress code, like employees should conform and wear uniforms. How do you feel about this? 2025 changes are coming to Geeks and Gamers. I didn't say that, but didn't say it was coming to Geeks and Gamers. Yeah, this was in reference to the FBI agent with the fucking nose ring. And I basically talked about how when I go to Target, I see some fucking weirdo with fucking pronouns on his fucking name tag or a gay flag, or you go to GameStop and there's some weirdo with a gay flag mask on. And I'm like, when I worked retail, I was not allowed to wear like an Alabama pin on my tie, because I was told that like you can't wear anything that will, maybe the person's an Auburn fan that's shopping. You want to turn that fan off. You know what I mean? So now you got a bunch of weirdos wearing gay flags, but I've never seen somebody with a MAGA flag at a GameStop. So,
yeah, I think I don't have any problem with that. I think that's perfectly fine, depending on the business you're at or whatever. I also do think that as time changes, things change. I can remember back in the day, it would not be abnormal for people to be like, no tattoos showing, like at a job you're at, right? Like that would be like a very normal thing a decade or two ago, probably more closer to 2. Now we would look at that type of rule, and it might be like, certainly a lot of people might want that and might not want people with tattoos, whatever. But I also think the amount of people with tattoos now that are in the workforce like that, it might be very hard to enforce. So a lot of things are going to change as time changes. But yeah, I have no problem at all with dress codes at companies. I think it's a professionalism thing. That's what it is. And I 100% don't think you should be making any type of political statements if you're just working for a company. Like, there's no reason I should go into a GameStop and be confronted with somebody with a fucking Biden Harris hat or a MAGA hat, to be honest, if they're on the job.
Agreed. But yeah, no G&G dress codes. You know, although like if we were to roll out like certain merch, I might ask some people to wear some stuff occasionally, you know, when we're promoting stuff. But yeah, you know, but that's YouTube, man. That's what everybody's used to, all that on YouTube. All right, what's our first topic, Ryan?
People just dress different now. Like, fucking 20 or 30 years ago, whether you went to like a wedding or whether you went out to go see a symphony, like things like that. People dress differently now. I was actually talking on the phone with this the other day. I jokingly said all the young people don't want to get dressed up, and it's kind of true.
It is true.
It's the fucking reality.
We go to like when you go to Walmart now, it's like I can't.
Yeah, it used to look so nice at Walmart.
Well, it did. Compared to today's standards, it did. Like, used to actually people had uniforms on and you could tell they worked there. Now it's like some kid on his fucking phone wearing baggy pants and fucking dreadlocks. You're like, really? Okay.
Is this a white man?
Well, you know, pick your poison. So,
yeah, we could talk. I guess we can talk about Disney Star Wars. That was something that was made for the people that you're talking about, Jeremy, whoever that may be.
The people you're talking about.
You didn't define the race, so.
Oh man.
But it was you know, it's funny. In the aftermath of the cancellation of the Acolyte, we got told by so many people in the media, so many people that were associated with Lucasfilm, actors in this, that it had nothing to do with viewership. Like, that's not why the Acolyte got canceled. It was just because those toxic fans out there, those racist bastards, that's who Disney bent the knee to. This super successful show was actually canceled just from a handful of fans that didn't want it, and they bent the knee. Well, of course, that's not reality. We saw the ratings for ourselves. We know that was the biggest disaster in the history of Disney Star Wars in terms of streaming series, based on the amount of money they spent on this thing. And even Alan Bergman came out and had to admit that. He's like, yeah, you know, just the viewership didn't line up to the amount of money we were spending on it, so it didn't make sense to continue. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, well, that's Jeremy, big breaking news right there. I mean, it's shocking. If only some bunch of toxic YouTubers would have been talking about this for the months leading into the Acolyte, but no, we were dismissed as racist and sexist. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, and now we're realizing what a bullet we dodged. Or I guess you could say this is a big missed opportunity to make more videos about it. But we're finding out more about what the plans for the Acolyte were. We knew, of course, they wanted a second season. They left on that cliffhanger, that ridiculous shit. But apparently, according to one of the stars, they planned for 3 seasons and a movie that Leslie Headland, this would have been $1 billion, if not more, invested into the Acolyte. My God.
Does this not put Disney Star Wars into perspective? The thing that no fans wanted, they made a roadmap and a plan for. Yet the fucking sequel trilogy, the thing that every fan wanted and dreamed of for 30 fucking years, they didn't make a plan for it. They're like, we'll just figure it out as we go. Nothing says Disney Star Wars more than this story right here. Holy shit. Oh, you got a bunch of gay people in it? Oh, yeah, we're going to make a roadmap, and we're going to have 3 seasons. We're going to have a movie. We're going to have space witch lesbian scenes. All the fans are going to love this. Oh, you guys wanted Han, Luke, and Leia? Nah, we don't have a plan. Who cares about all that, right? Good Lord.
The craziest part about it is that it actually got canceled. That is the most outrageous thing that happened in 2024, is that not that they had this failure, but that they actually said no more. We're good. We don't need any more of this. This series was canceled after a single season, but one of its stars let slip. Headland had ambitious plans for her creation that included 3 whole seasons and a movie. Recently, Manny Jacinto, known for his role as Chimere, who you love, Jeremy.
I thought he was the best part of the show. He was the best part of the show. And I've always been a big fan of the Asians. So,
yeah. Shed light on Headland's original vision for the show during a panel at Fan Expo. I remember Leslie's dream was for us to do 3 seasons, not just 1, Jacinto said. But there's something about having a finite ending that makes it so much more special. So, yeah, I don't know if I do it or not, but, 3 seasons and a movie would have been incredible. And I know we had so much to explore with that second season. And he kind of talked about they obviously had plans for Plagueis, things like that. That was definitely going to be more Plagueis in the second, or if not, the 3rd seasons of the show. But I just can't say because, we could come back. I don't want to spoil anything or give anybody false hope, but I would just say there was a lot more to explore for sure.
Nobody wanted this shit. Nobody cared. But the best part of this is what you said, though. The fact is it got canceled. The fact that it got canceled, knowing how much the people at Lucasfilm were behind this project, they were behind this 100%. They wanted this. Leslie Headland had all the support in the world from Kathleen Kennedy. And the fact that they were still put in the position where they had to cancel this just shows that it was even a worse disaster than probably we even reported on. It had to be catastrophic for them to cancel this. It had to be unbelievably bad. They had to have lost so much money. And their internal information must have been horrible.
I honestly think that if it had just come out and got the ratings it did or whatever, I still think they might have gone ahead with it. They might have done a second season, whatever. I think a lot of it had to do with how antagonistic all of the stars and everything were towards the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I think that had a lot to do with it. And you even heard, I don't know if it was that Hollywood Reporter article that talked to somebody at Lucasfilm that, when Amanda Stenberg came out with that diss track and everything, that made it very easy for them to just go ahead and say, okay, we're done with this. Because it was ridiculous. And you had attacks on fans the entire way through, from Leslie Headland's wife, from Amanda Stenberg, from Jodie Turner-Smith, whatever. You had all of this shit that we've seen time and time again at Lucasfilm, but I think the patience for that is worn so thin, and the reaction from the fan base was so vitriolic in terms of everyone despised it. Everyone despised the Acolyte that actually gave it a chance and watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have played a big role in them deciding not to move forward with it, because we know they've done things that aren't necessarily successful and done it again. But I think that played a big role in this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but have they done things that weren't successful to this level? Has anything been this bad of a failure at Lucasfilm? That's my question. Like, this is bad.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, because this cost about 2.5 times what a average season of Mandalorian cost.
Yeah. And this was more expensive. Wasn't this more expensive than Kenobi?
Well, yeah. So a lot of that has to do with how they're filmed. So Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, they're all filmed in the volume, which it allows them to keep costs down a lot, which is why all those things are in the $90 million, $100 million range. Because of how they're shot, because you don't have to be on location doing all of these things. You don't have to build so much stuff. You just sit there behind the wall. You build some of it, and then you got that huge wall that shows you things. But this and Andor as well costs a lot of fucking money. Reports came out about that maybe $290 million into Andor season 2, which seems like a lot of fucking money. Mm-hmm. A lot of fucking money for Andor, which although was acclaimed in terms of when people look at it, they think that's probably the best thing they've done. It's not like it was setting the ratings on fire. Certainly picked up towards the end, and over time, a lot more people watched it. But that's a lot of money to sink into season 2 of Andor.
Yeah, and we've talked about Andor a lot, and I just think Andor is exactly what Star Wars would have needed if Star Wars was of operating in a proper way. If everything else was taken care of, then Andor would have been incredibly successful. Probably, I'm not saying it would have broke records, you know what I mean? Because it had its audience for sure. But the fact that Star Wars was so damaged during the time when it released, and that's a testament to everything else they've done, that so many people that would have probably been interested in Andor didn't watch it. I've heard a lot of people claim, again, I only watched the first 3 episodes, which I thought were pretty good, but it was about the overall, like, just looking at Star Wars in general. I'm like, fuck this. Like, I wasn't watching any of this stuff. The only reason I watched the Acolytes so I could grift off of it, because fuck Disney Star Wars.
Andor is a slow burn, but it also is my biggest problem with it is I just don't really care about Cassian Andor as a character.
Yes.
And Andor, the show, didn't really change that for me too much. There's a lot of things that go on within it that I think are well done in terms of like kind of getting this viewpoint of the everyday life of the average citizen that's under the boot of the fucking empire. And then also on the flip side, the kind of the everyday experience of what's going on for imperial workers and drones or people even that are in high levels of government, stuff like that. I thought a lot of that was actually very interesting. But the thing to me that I just don't care about as much is the main character. And that's a problem for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big problem. So yeah, moving forward, I mean, just it's funny, and I'm sure we're never gonna hear like the end of them crying about Acolyte, you know, with how much they wish that they could. They may try to speak it back into existence or something like that. It's never gonna happen. Nobody cares, and this is what happens when you make a product that no one gives a damn about. Leslie Headland essentially decided to make a passion project for her own identity politics bullshit by using the Star Wars IP as a mask for it. And that's why, for one of the many reasons why it failed, and it was never going to be successful. So good job on this disaster, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. You deserve it. You love to see it.
You love to see it. All right. There we go. That's our Star Wars segment of the week of the day.
Of the week of the day.
Crispy Nokin, member for 22 months. Morning and hail. 3 days into the new year, and it's off to a crazy start. I know. Hopefully, after this month, the rest can go smooth. Focus on the W's, no L's.
It's been a wild year so far.
You're going to take some L's. That happens, but
yep.
Focus on the W's. The George W's. NDI, New Year, still gay. Thank you. Mountain Time, Ryan Kinnell. Looks like me in a Boy Scout uniform. Play Palworld, Ryan. It has slavery. I'll probably play Palworld at some point.
Mountain Time, Ryan Kinnell. It's fantastic.
Palworld sounds and all the gameplay was coming out when it first came out. It feels to me what I've always felt Pokemon is at heart, which is not some, cute story about going around and a little trainer wanting to be the very best and being so nice to Pokemon, but it's truly a story about gladiatorial combat and enslaving Pokemon and make them fight for you, make them work for you. Like you could probably just do a lot of crazy shit in real life with Pokemon. So yeah, I'll play Palworld. But I had fun playing Pokemon Violet last night. Titty Smacker, it's my birthday today. Can you mess with Beardo? How do we mess with him?
We only worry about relevant YouTubers on this channel. So if you can name a more relevant one, we can maybe mess with that YouTuber, but Beardo's not relevant enough. So
Epic Mike.
He's a little more relevant because he's a DEI hire.
Yeah, there you go. Steven De Leon for 2. Eat shish, Jeremy and Ryan. Yeah, big Notre Dame fan. Fucking Steven De Leon's like Notre Dame, West Texas, Buffalo Bills. Sloppy Joe for 2 says, why? Does Joe Biden have is he holding a baby and has one of those dog things to stop them from biting themselves?
That's got to be one of the best profile pictures.
I was talking to somebody this morning actually about what Joe Biden's like farewell speech is going to be like. And I feel like he just needs to do a greatest hits collection. Like all of the fucking embarrassing things we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years from Joe Biden. He just needs to recreate all of them in his goodbye speech.
His speech the other day after the New Orleans thing was so fucking bad. Like, it was so bad. I don't think he knows where he's at, man. I really don't. The fact that they were trying to run this guy for another 4 years is absolutely insane.
It's crazy. I really want one of my favorite moments of the entire like campaign from 2020 was the Despacito. Like that, I don't know why that was so funny to me when he's appearing in front of like the Hispanic or Latino, like whatever, and he just fucking comes up, gets his Spotify going and plays Despacito and starts dancing a little bit.
The memes that created was amazing.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Oh man, fucking Joe Biden.
Tyrant Lizard King. Notre Dame is God's football team. Ryan, accept it. If that were true,
if that were true,
listen, God's against sodomy. Why has Notre Dame got bent over and fucked in the ass so many times if they were God's football team? Tell me that, Tyrant Lizard King.
Why didn't God look out for Manti Te'o when he made a fool of himself?
Yeah.
If that was the case. Manti Te'o with his make-believe girlfriend. That was such a weird story, dude.
Touchdown Jesus couldn't have sent fucking Manti Te'o a message.
Come on. Dude, I will never forget. Like, I'm just like flipping, like I turned my TV on and the headline on Sports Center was like, breaking news, Manti Te'o's girlfriend did not exist. And I'm like, what? What does that even mean?
I love that so much because I fucking despise Notre Dame with a passion. I am a hater, a proud hater of Notre Dame. And I hated that season so much because they didn't deserve to be in the championship game. They should have lost that game against Stanford. It was a terrible call. I can't believe that they didn't rule that a touchdown for Stanford. So they shouldn't have been there. And it was so gratifying to me to see them get their asses beat. And you kept hearing about Manti Te'o deserves Heisman consider. Fuck Manti Te'o. Okay.
Yeah, Alabama.
And I was so glad when it was just a big catfish thing for him.
Mm-hmm. Manti Te'o was hyped up big time. It was crazy.
He wasn't dating a sex doll. There was a man pretending to be a woman.
Yeah, he was catfished.
He was catfish, like legitimately, not the way that I know the catfish word is getting thrown around there a lot now when people just think it's women wearing makeup.
Yeah.
No, which is that's not what a catfish is.
No, Manti Te'o. So essentially, this dude found these pictures of this really hot girl that I guess he went to school with, and he basically posed as that girl. And he even reached out to that girl at some point in time and got her to like write a note that said like, go something, like it was a picture. He like talked to her about like, hey, can you make this picture? So he sent the picture of that girl holding the thing to Manti Te'o. And then of course, like she claimed like, that she died, or her family picked up the phone and told him that she had died.
Yes.
It was a weird story. It's the weirdest fucking story ever.
Did she say that her grandpa died, or was it Manti Te'o's grandpa?
Manti Te'o's either grandma or grandpa died. And then also his girlfriend died. And then he went on national TV and he's like, a week after my grandma died, my girlfriend died. And his girlfriend never existed.
Yeah. So like, and because ESPN was running all this stuff because it was a crazy story, right?
Yeah.
The idea that, captain of the Notre Dame football team, potential national champions, like he'd been in the news a lot.
He was a Heisman front runner.
Tragically died. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Didn't take long for people to uncover that. And Manti Te'o was completely in it. It wasn't like
he was oblivious.
He faked it and that he was doing it for attention. That was not it. He was fooled by somebody.
Yeah. So good, dude. It's a crazy. I think there's a special on Netflix.
There is,
and if you're it is a wild story. It really
the craziest part is the dude who catfished Manti Te'o is now trans.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Yeah. Which means, Manti Te'o, you don't have to wait too much longer. You get the final justice you deserve, right? You don't have to wait too much longer.
What a wild story that was, dude.
Yeah.
It'll never not be a crazy situation if you were following it back then.
Oh,
but even if you're not into sports, I promise you, if you watch that shit on Netflix, it is a wild story. It is crazy.
It is. I just got reminded of this. I got to show you what happened, Jeremy, in my gaming live stream last night. Can you read a couple super chats?
Yeah. Let's see where we at.
I probably didn't click off a bunch of them.
That's okay. Tyrant Lizard Geek says Notre Dame got that one. Stephen DeLeon says Notre Dame football rules all. Shout out West Texas. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Look at there. I got the Bills Mafia love in there too. Stephen DeLeon always covering all of his bases. Always does that. Rabbit says for Jeremy's popsicle fund, $10. Lord Slosh says, happy Friday, Geeks and Gamers. Jeremy, next time some weirdo comes up and asks if you need help, just give them the old Ron Swanson cold stare and say, I know more than you, and walk away. That's what happens when I go into like a gaming store or so, like, oh my God. I hate going to GameStop. I hate it. I used to love going to GameStop, but now it's just all about upselling and all this shit. River Miles says, I'm not paying anything to watch lesbian space witches. My money is for the best go fuck yourself duo from Florida, Earth Central and Eastern time zone. There we go. Thank you, River Miles. Appreciate that. What is this? Hang on. Let me get this first. Elaine Cherry for 20 says, Ryan, I'm here every time for sports talk. Go UT Longhorns. Hook 'em. There we go.
There you go. Hey, you guys are in it, Elaine.
Right.
You guys are in it.
And just because Yellow Flash is ranting, Notre Dame is trash. They left their yearly games with Michigan because we wreck them every year, even when we were awful. Trash team that's always hyped and overrated with a padded out schedule. I hate them. You know what? If there's one thing that can unify us sports fans, it's our hatred of Notre Dame football. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. And with all that being said, they do have a very solid, talented team this year. They do. And they beat the shit out of Georgia yesterday. But fuck them, all right?
Yes.
All right, Jeremy. So I'm playing Pokemon Violet. There is a Pokemon that is like a koala bear, basically. And its name is Komala. And I found that funny when it came up on the stream. So I don't know exactly how long we might have to wait. But let's watch what happens, because Pokemons always have different moves and things like that.
The game was Alpha Sapphire? Damn.
That's Komala. You slam.
He's sleeping.
My Gyarados went to sleep, by the way. It sucks. But I could not catch this bitch. For the life of me, I could not catch this bitch. Kept breaking out of Pokeballs.
You fucking piece of shit.
Oh, no! Somebody needs to clip that. Komala has a signature move that I didn't think about.
Sleeping.
It pops up really quick. Right? Hold on. Boom, boom, boom.
You fucking piece of shit.
Right there. Do you see that, Jeremy?
Yes. It's the wild Komala used to swallow.
I couldn't believe that shit when it happened. So obviously I reacted. No! Somebody needs to clip that. Komala used swallow. Did you guys see that? Komala used swallow. You can't make this shit up. This is why we play Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen. What the fuck? That has always been Komala's biggest weapon. Her swallow game. And it's a female Komala, by the way.
Oh, man. This is fantastic. We need more Ryan Kennel Pokemon streams. We do.
You never know what might pop up in a Pokemon game.
We definitely need more of that. Hey, Ryan, what channel was that on? Just so the people know.
RK Outpost Gaming.
That's right. There we go.
RK Outpost Gaming. I spent a lot of time figuring out what to name that channel, and I'm a very creative mind, so I figured that would work.
Yeah, you did a lot of research and development on that, and I commend you. I'm not sure how you come up with that name, buddy, but it inspired me.
No.
You know, I had to pay royalties to Ryan when I named my channel D-Day Cobra Gaming. But Ryan, you know, I had to pay Ryan like $10,000 in royalties. So it's good stuff, man. I commend you for coming up with that one.
It's funny because of how many times we've switched some of these channel names around. And so we finally decided on the fucking mind-breaking, mind-blowing Geeks and Gamers 2.
Yep. That channel's doing good too. We're almost to 40,000 subs now over there. So
it's because we finally got the name right.
That's it. It's all it took was the name. That's all it took was the name. Bullet Shepherd for 10 says, I've been at work for 13 days straight on 12-hour shifts, and I want to delete myself. I now know how Ryan feels every day. Hey, just keep grinding, brother. I know how it is. I worked retail, which is what I worked for the most part. That's not the only thing I worked. I also worked in warehouses and things like that. But that's why I liked driving a forklift, because it was a different, you know, like I don't have to worry about dealing with people. I can just get my forklift. And that was a point in time where you couldn't really like have headphones at work. But I was able to sneak my headphones on, you know, whenever I was on my forklift, and I just zone in. So,
bro, I remember when I was working at Walmart in high school, and I had they had just come out with fucking like Bluetooth stuff, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had this Bluetooth headset so I could talk on the phone while I was out there in the fucking winter collecting carts outside. My God.
Yeah.
What a fucking shitty job for a while.
Yeah, that's why I liked working overnight, like on the stock crew, because I could just listen to my headphones, you know, listen to podcasts and things like that. So, and didn't have to deal with people.
Bro, I won't forget it was winter. It was snowing, and somebody was trying to bring a pallet of, I don't know what the fuck, whether it was sand or mulch or something in massive bags. I don't quite remember what it was. We're trying to bring a pallet of that from the back up to the front, and the pallet broke. Like the pallet itself, the wood broke on something, and they couldn't get it in. They weren't allowed to take the forklift outside because it was snowing and fucking icy and everything. So I had to go out there with a pallet jack that could not actually effectively lift this pallet and basically drag the thing across the fucking asphalt parking lot all the way back up through the front of Walmart. It took me like 45 minutes, almost an hour to do it.
Miss those days. I miss those days, man.
All for $7.15 an hour or whatever the fuck it was back then.
All before DEI. I'd rather go back to that time. No DEI and just had to work your ass off. I was okay with that.
Yeah. I feel like there was still DEI. Based on some of my coworkers. Over on the local side, Rich the Plug with a $10 tip. We still love y'all, even though you're gaying late. Thank you, Rich. A Money Wilson for $1 just got home from a visit to the post office. There were no uniforms and had to wait in line of 0 for service. My post office has people in uniform. I mean, they have shirts, like that's their uniform, but mine does at least. Alex Belfour had to take my kids to see Sonic 3. Not a bad film for kids. Jim Carrey's scene as Robotnik and his grandfather making up for lost time was hilarious.
I enjoyed it.
Jeremy the Cyborg. Jay had 2 record-setting live streams for him today and yesterday, 482 and 512 respectively.
Drunk 3PO crushing it.
Nice. Mo Zamboni for 2. Notre Dame fans stink, almost as bad as Ohio State. Ohio State blew the fuck out of Oregon last night, or 2 days ago. Orangutan. I want to say Orange had gotten so badly.
I know you do. I've redefined it. I've redefined that word now.
If you think Notre Dame fans are bad, you better pray Texas doesn't win at all. Their fan base worse than Cowboys fans. Used to live in Austin.
I don't know. I mean, I have historically, as a lifelong Alabama fan who grew up in Alabama, Alabama fans are pretty fucking obnoxious, especially with the last 2 decades under Nick Saban. Getting a little quieter now. Bama fans getting a little quieter. A little bandwagons getting a little bit lighter. But Bama fans have historically been pretty obnoxious, and I can acknowledge that. I have no problem with that.
Tobias, when I worked at the movie theater, I got away with wearing a Palico pin, Monster Hunter sidekick, on my collar by saying it was from an animated movie. Part of the problem, Tobias. Patty McShane for 5. I told Theory last night, no income tax in Texas. It somehow got him to voice his true feelings of Trudeau. I hope I didn't get homie thrown in the gulag. Thanks. The chat for 2. G&G is a company. LOL.
Yeah, but not like a company like a corporation, Walmart, and all that shit.
Jeremy's gonna make us all start wearing hats and hoodies with the sleeves rolled up.
That's right.
Alex McCarthy. Only the past 3 years of Raw is on Netflix.
Yeah, but aren't they going to add more? Because like there's Attitude Era stuff on there already. So I guess we're just going to find out. We'll find out on the national holiday of January 6th when Raw comes to Netflix.
The chat for $5. I just don't know who to super chat to. Can't tell him who works here without uniforms. Sorry. Just gotta roll the dice. Speaking of January 6th, I was rewatching Tiger King the other day, and in that second season, they talk about, there's like the petition to free Joe Exotic, and they want Trump to pardon him and all that stuff. But I had totally forgot that when they were supposed to meet with Don Jr. about Joe Exotic's pardon, Trump got COVID. And then the next time they really were going to try to do something to get his attention, it was January 6th.
Of course.
Motherfucker never had a chance.
Of course. Never had a chance.
Hi, Kira for 2. The Acolyte got Ryan back in EFAP. Worth it. I'm glad it was worth it for you. Joshua Henderson, Amanda Stenberg did a lot more than a diss track. She kept raving her mouth saying the show was meant to make white men cry, much like Rachel Zegler. That is not true. That was from an interview she gave in like 2018 or 2019 about a completely different project. But I mean, obviously she's a dumb bitch who hates the fans. No doubt about that. But that specific thing was not the case. Godzilla's Greaser for 5. Shave Beardo while he's sleeping. That'll mess with him.
I'll pass.
Tyrant Lizard King for 5. God loves people who suffer. Look at his son, heathens. It will make the season when they win it all the sweeter. Well, look, if that's the case, then the Bears are fucking God's football team too. Okay.
And you just sent a super chat saying we skipped your first super chat. We did not. That was us getting to it. Tyrant Lizard King.
Sloppy Joe for 2. I have a chewing fetish. I can't help it. Keep him away from the babies. Samuel B. Do you remember a song remix they made about him called Why Manti? Some early 2010s meme lore.
I don't know if I saw that. I don't remember that, but I mean, I'm sure it happened. This thing was crazy, man.
James Daniel for 5. Did you guys finish Squid Game yet? I loved it. Fun fact: the front man also played Storm Shadow.
I in the Snake Eyes Origins movies, he was pretty good at Storm Shadow. I haven't watched Squid Game season 2. I loved season 1. I don't really care about season 2. I've heard people seem to enjoy it though. Have you watched it?
No.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the first season.
Wait, you didn't watch the first season?
No, everybody was so fucking like, oh my god, it's amazing. It's like, Asian shit.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm sure I'll watch it eventually.
I'm not interested in watching season 2.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I mean, same thing with what's that fucking League of Legends anime that was on there that everybody Arcane. I didn't watch that first season. From what I've seen from people, I feel like they feel like season 2 is a step down from season 1. Based on how people are talking, I don't think that necessarily means it's bad. I just think that it's not living up to the first season. But I haven't watched the first or second. That's just kind of what I'm seeing from some reactions of people.
I've been catching up on like I just caught up on 1923, finished that. So now I've got to rewatch 1883. But have you watched any of those yet? The prequels to Yellowstone? 1923 is pretty good, but it's got a lot of lovey-dovey bullshit in it too. That just like I feel like I was like I just want to see like fighting and gun battles and people riding horses and killing each other. But there's a lot of lovey-dovey bullshit.
Just a lot of men giving each other ultimatums.
Yeah, like I just want to see fighting. There's a lot of romance in 19.
I don't want to see women giving men ultimatums. I want to see men giving men ultimatums, and if they don't do this, they'll kill them. That's what I want to see.
There's this one dude, whoever plays Spencer Dutton in 1923. His name's like Brandon something. That guy has like he's probably I've never seen him in anything, but I'm surprised you don't see him in more movies and stuff. He's actually really good, got a lot of screen presence, but he's just like Harrison Ford's in it. Harrison Ford actually brings it. He's actually trying in 1923. I do enjoy 1923, but
I like Harrison Ford when he tries.
Yeah, it's just it's few and far between with him trying these days. But he
Any
actually
more these days.
yeah. But he actually is trying in this show. He's actually putting some effort into it. It's really good though. I do enjoy it.
I still think it's crazy that Harrison Ford played the president of the United States in Air Force One that came out, I don't know what, in 1993 or something.
What's that? Air Force One?
Yeah, when did that?
It was
Early
I
90s,
think it was the
probably?
early 90s, early to mid 90s.
And he's playing the president again, fucking 30 something years later in Captain America: Brave New World.
So 90s, so 97, so late 90s. Okay.
Okay, there you go. It's not as much then.
Yeah.
I love Air Force One.
His
Great.
wife in 1923 does a great job. Helen Mirren, she's great. I mean, everybody's good in the show. Nobody's bad in the show. Everybody's actually great in 1923. I just wish that I overall very much enjoy it. It's just a little too much romance in it. I'm like, okay, like too much of that shit. Jeremy the Cyborg for 100.
There you go. Jeremy the Cyborg drops $100. When I was at Home Depot, a guy bought a pallet of concrete, wanted it loaded in his Ford Ranger. We told him it couldn't support the weight, had him sign a release of liability. They went to load the pallet, removed the guy's truck bed from the back of the truck.
Yeah, there was no fucking chance if you're doing a pallet of concrete. There's no way a fucking Ford Ranger would hold that. And I can speak to this too, because there was a lot of times people would demand, they buy like a pallet of pavers or something, and they're like, just load it up in the truck, and they pull their little fucking rinky dinky S10 up, and you're like, bro, your S10 is not going to hold a pallet of this. You would have to tell them. And then there was times you'd set it down and you just watch the bed just sink. You're like, oh, this is going to be bad. No, man, they can do it.
Was it a policy that you couldn't accept tips?
Yes.
Yeah, it was the same way when I was at Walmart. I didn't give a fuck. If I fucking help somebody carry and load some fucking TV into their car that can't actually fit and I have to like do one, I will take their money. I don't care. Fuck you, Walmart.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% accepted tips, but the policy was that you weren't going to. I'm like, okay, no,
yeah,
not even fucking close. One time when I was working, I was a manager at a warehouse, and someone left a wallet there. I swear to God, it had $10,000 cash in it. All right, I called the police.
10,000.
I swear I didn't count it, but it was a lot. I think they confirmed that it was like right at that number. But I called the police because I'm like, something doesn't seem right about this. There was an insane amount of cash in there. Okay. So I was just like, I call the police. Police comes up there and I say, listen, somebody left this. I'm not messing with it. There's way too much money in there. They looked through the wallet. They found the person's information. And the person actually came up there, gave me $10 fucking. I'm like, I should have kept it.
Was it like an old lady?
It was an old lady. It was an old lady. I'm like, why do you have so much money? Thought it was a fucking drug dealer or something.
Here you go. Take yourself to a movie and a show.
I was so mad. I'm like, this is why people are criminals right now. Doing the right thing is bullshit.
Because if you had found like maybe 100 or something bug or a couple 20s in there, might have thought about pocketing it.
Yeah,
yeah. 10 grand, you're like, bro, this person could come kill me.
That's 100% what I was thinking. Like somebody called me, they're like, hey, this person left their wallet. And I picked the wallet. I'm like, holy fuck. There are more hundreds I've ever seen in my life in here. Like, it was insane. So I was like, call the police, get them up here. I don't want anything to do with this. You know what I mean? This seems like a bad situation. Some fucking old lady gives me like $10. Like, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
I've found a handful of wallets when I was working at maybe JCPenney or when I was working at golf course, stuff like that. But I always just fucking turn on like I don't want that bad karma. Fucking
Yeah.
didn't even think about it. It's tossed. Give it back.
I do miss the world of like there. So a long time ago when I was a store manager at a grocery store, a major chain, there was this old lady who used to come in, and she was super weird. And my people told me that she was stealing. They're like, she's putting things in her purse. She only scans one item. She gets two off the shelf. She puts one in her purse and she only scans the one item. So I have to go up there and confront her. Her theory was that when the scanner scans the product, it's putting disease in the product. So her whole thing was that I'm not stealing it. I'm just making them scan it, that thing twice, and I throw the other one away. So the one that I keep is the one that doesn't get scanned with the disease. And I'm like, wow, that is wild. But I was like, I mean, I respect it. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was a wild theory. But yeah, so she would go and say, like, can of green beans. She would take one can of green beans off the shelf and put it in her buggy, take the other can and put it in her purse. She had like this big fucking bag. She's loading the fucking bag up. So if she goes through the register, she's like, you got to scan that twice, but you can't scan the ones in my fucking bag.
Arrest that bitch. Arrest her.
Scan in I.199.
Chronicling Mayhem, Sophie over on Rumble. I got anime pins on my lanyard. I also got the Argentinian and Peruvian flag and the most important flag, the Straw Hats Pirates. Well, awesome, Sophie.
Shout out, Sophie.
Taker, Kanye thinks Last of Us 2 is the best game ever.
Yes, he does. Only
yes,
Kanye.
he does. Maybe
Only
we'll talk
Kanye.
about that. We got a lot of super chats to catch up with. Orangutan, Happy New Year, you figs. All G&G in chat. Great gaming streams past year. Cheers to many more. My monkey is coming. J 2024.
Only Jay.
Christian Rocky, you guys see the Asian guy who signed an NIL deal with Antonio Brown? I missed that.
I saw the New York Post tweeting about it.
Arthur, you guys like hockey? I'm not big into hockey. I'll watch on occasion. I kind of followed the Chicago Blackhawks for a time, but I've never been huge into hockey. So uncivilized for two. AZ me is the best time, figs. No daylight savings. I feel like daylight savings as a whole is, listen, I'm somebody that freaks out about a lot of shit. I fly off the handle about a lot of shit. I really don't care too much about daylight savings time. I don't feel like it affects my life that much.
It's not that big of a deal, really. Like, I get that everybody
so nice to get an extra hour of sleep once a year.
Yeah, it keeps things fresh. I'm not passionate against it one way or the other. I'm kind of whatever about it.
Yeah, I really, it's not something that's a big deal to me. Now, when I was in the Navy and you happen to be on watch when the time changed, that could piss you off because you might have to stand an extra hour of watch, or you might be lucky and have to spend an hour less. You never know.
By the way, I meant to say this a little bit earlier in the show, but our meetup location 100% confirmed for Universal Studios Orlando, Red Coconut Bar or Club or whatever they call it. Same place we had it last year. Saturday night, February 8th. That is MegaCon weekend. That will be the G&G FNT meetup. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, I'll give you guys a specific time when that starts a little bit later. We're still trying to pin down the panel time at MegaCon, but that is 100% confirmed now at City Walk. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys there. Right now, as it stands, obviously the G&G crew, me, Ryan, and the crew, Beardo, Krista, Steph, Jay, countless others will all be there. Gary will be there. I'm sure Team Nerdrotic will be there. Team Ripaverse will be there. And it looks like Critical Drinker is going to be there. I think Star Wars Theory is going to be in town as well. I haven't gotten that one 100% confirmed, but I did talk to Drinker yesterday, and it looks like Drinker is going to be able to make it out there as well. So it's going to be an awesome meetup, and there's going to be even more people that will be there as well. So looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
River Miles for 5. I meant gay. I would never tell Jeremy and Ryan to go fuck yourself. Sorry about the misunderstanding. No problem. Kylito's Corner. Kyle Busch and Son are doing great in Tulsa this week. Chili Bowl in less than 2 weeks. 199. Go Kyle Busch. Screw Naughty Dog and down with woke.
Let's go.
Thanks, Kylito. The Raven and Writing Desk, member for 12 months. Thank you. Andy plays games for 2. Ryan, which fast food place has the hottest girls?
I don't
Typically Chick-fil-A, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like that's probably, I don't know. It's tough because so much just is the fucking roll of the dice, right? Sometimes you fucking roll up to a Taco Bell and the person that was taking your order, you're like, holy shit, what are you doing here? But
Chick-fil-A is the safest bet.
Average Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is the safest bet, probably.
And even if they're not all that attractive, at least you know it was their pleasure. Flag Ninja for 5. TGIF, 2 gay I.figs. Happy New Year.
Hail I-dots.
Choose Violence for 5. Do you two take your carts back to the corral, leaving them in the parking lot like degenerates? I always take it back to the corral.
I always take it to the cart. But
I had to collect them for a while when I worked at Walmart.
But you see how they have like the machines now, you know what I mean? And like that's bullshit. When I first started, we used to have competition of like who could push the most carts without the carts coming apart, you know what I mean, or getting indoors. And, and that was awesome,
right?
So, what, keeping momentum?
You got to push them backwards.
Oh, you mean like from the front? Yeah, but you can't go through the door. You got to, because we took them inside.
You got it. So basically, all the way through, you push them backwards, and then right as you get up to the entrance, you just fucking wrap it around real quick. Hopefully, you can bump it up against one of the things that are there, so people don't drive.
The railings.
Yeah,
or those. You talking about those poles that are there?
The poles, yes.
Yeah,
one of the push it up against one of the poles, so you can push it the rest of the way in.
But see, the thing we used to do is
then you can control it all from the back. You got to control all the fucking steering from the back. If you try to push it from the back front, you're gonna have stuff start to fall off.
But that's what we were always trying to do. We were always trying to say like who could drive the most amount of carts without it coming apart. You know what I mean? And there was a technique to keeping your momentum and keeping your turns in a certain kind of momentum. And of course, there were a few times where cars got hit. It was not pretty, but hey, listen, man.
As long as you didn't see it, it's fine.
Yeah. You know, hopefully they were a bitch inside.
We were those high-skilled workers, those H-1B visa people just coming in, taking our high-skilled jobs, Jeremy.
Oh, man.
Tyrant Lizard King, we got your second super chat as well. Thank you. DeBeast for 5. Win, lose, or draw. # roll tide. Remain blessed, gentlemen.
Roll tide.
Carol Hall gives a membership. Thank you, Carol. Taker, switch to reveal next week, Jeremy. According to a guy in a Chinese forum, anyway. Look up Lowe's employee stuck on Lyft if you want a retail laugh.
Oh, will do. Yeah, the switch to reveal. It's going to be a wild few months talking about that.
Eddie Brock for 5.99 euros. Ryan while playing Pokemon. Tardo, I choose you. These aren't the Pokeballs I ordered. You had one fucking job. Look out, it's Jeremy and Team Trump. Thanks, Eddie.
Somebody says Jeremy almost called carts buggies. Well, they were buggies back in the day. Carts kind of like that was when I started.
That's probably a local thing that they were called.
Yeah, like
I had never heard of them called buggies in my life.
Yeah, but it evolved to like more like shopping carts over time. But when I first started, management referred to them as buggies.
Yeah, they also called all the pop Coke. So, you know,
it's not. They called it Coke, a cola. Yeah, I never called it pop.
I called it pop growing up. After living on the coasts for a while, I started pretty much alternating between pop and soda. But only the fucking deep south are the ones that call everything Coke.
Yeah, we either call it soda is a little more acceptable in the South, but like it's pretty much everything's Coke. Like, hey, what would you like to drink, sir? Coke.
What
we only
kind?
have Pepsi. We only have Pepsi. Coke's fine.
No, like some like people. I know somebody in Texas that's like this. It drives me fucking crazy. Like, you want a Coke? Yeah, sure. What kind? What do you fucking mean? Like diet or no? Like, you want Dr. Pepper? You want Sprite? It's like, no, you retards. Stop calling it that. Like, that's acceptable for Kleenex, right? If you call all tissues Kleenex, because there's no variety, right? You can't just call everything Coke. I hate that. Fucking Tobias for 10. I need a show based on Hunt, 1896, hardened bounty hunters, crazy cultists, desperate cowboys, supernatural abilities like Darkseid, high-octane gunfights, and a bayou full of monsters.
That sounds pretty awesome, actually.
I feel like I'd do well in 1896.
Yeah, there's Hayden Wayne. It says it's all Coke. See? It's all Coke.
Exactly, and it's not. It's not. Ghost of Freddie Mercury's immune system. Ryan always carrying those loads. Ministry of Wrong Thing for 199. New year, new me. Let's go. Check them tunnels, New York.
What that?
Thanks. Big Raj. So, Ryan, you're into Blackhawks. I followed the Chicago Blackhawks for a while. Just another grifter for Aussie 5. Did anyone notice that when Superman called crypto, he didn't blow the snow away? Oh, my God.
I've heard that criticism a few times.
I have too.
So, yeah.
Jay's half Asian son for 2. Daddy, where art thou? Not here. All right, really quick. Make sure. Oh, we also got $5 over on Rumble from Wesley. Daylight savings time was the original way the globalists tried to kill humanity before we had bioweapons. I feel like bioweapons are much more effective than that. What was the other? Where the fuck is my other tabs that I wanted to pull up? God
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care.
Jeremy. Helldivers 2 made a huge splash last year.
Dun 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 dun. It's got a great.
That's the Helldivers 2 music.
Oh,
Right
it's
there.
so
Look at
fucking
that.
good. So fucking good.
It made a huge splash last year, so much that it became Sony's fastest selling game ever. Now, a lot of that obviously depended on it wasn't exclusive to the PS5 or anything like that. It was being sold on Steam, had, massive player base for a while, then obviously leveled off. Not without its fair share of controversies, whether it was some game managers or whether it was, whether you had to link PlayStation Network and all of that stuff. But Helldivers 2, obviously a massive success last year. No questions about that. Well, now the game director of Helldivers 2, and who was, I think, at one point the CEO of Arrowhead Studio. I think he's the CCO now. He weighed in on one of the hottest topics of gaming in 2024 and going into 2025, and that is obviously DEI. Helldivers 2 director weighs in on DEI in games. If it doesn't add to the experience, it detracts. Now, there are some games journalists who are not very happy with this. I'm still trying to grapple with the comments made by Helldivers 2 creative director regarding DEI. Because, of course, they're not very happy about it. But here's the thread right here. Within 10 minutes, or with 10 minutes to go to 2025, what are your expectation desires for what the next Arrowhead game will be? I'm working on the high concept, but I'd love to hear your speculation. Never add DEI to your games. If it doesn't add to the game experience, it detracts. And games should be a pure pursuit of amazing moments. How would DEI have benefited Helldivers 2? Someone asks. I don't like labels, but mankind's united in its extreme xenophobia on Super Earth. # inclusion. So maybe that's DEI. I really don't care. Make good games. Don't make a contemporary political statement. It's not surprising that some games journalists are going to lose their fucking minds over this very simple and very common sense comment.
Yep. Dwayne Jenkins, is that his name? Dwayne Jenkins.
Dwayne
Jenkins. Yeah, I mean, look, Helldivers really did take the gaming world by storm. I enjoyed it for a short period of time, and of course, they made some decisions that turned a lot of people off and lost a fuck ton of their player base at the time. But they just recently did announce a new update that really did kind of reignite the fan base. It seems like, I'm not sure. I'm not saying they got all of their fans back, but they definitely had a big boost. And the game itself, it's one giant like meme that everyone bought into, and it's really fucking fun to see the people embrace the game like they did. And we just need more games like this.
It's set in a satirical universe. It's not trying to make some like big overt political statement. It's just funny, right?
Yeah.
And all you care about is fucking defending Super Earth, right? From anybody that fucking who comes in to try to like challenge that. That's all it is. And people are like, well, isn't that inherently a political statement because you're making a satirical take on a fascist world and blah, blah, blah. It's like, holy shit, you guys are taking it way too seriously.
Well, it's the
meant
same
to just
idiots.
be a joke.
It's the same idiots that when we say like, don't bring politics into Star Wars, are like, George Lucas is, what about all the politics in the prequels? It's like, shut the fuck up. We're talking about your real world, current day politics bullshit. Holy shit, these people are fucking retarded, man. So yeah, I mean, Helldivers 2 is self-awareness is the most valuable thing right now within anything, whether it's on a YouTube channel or whether it's a video game or a company. Just be self-aware. Helldivers 2 seems to be very self-aware of what they are. By the way, banger theme song. If you have not heard the theme song for Helldivers 2, it's one of the great theme songs in video game history, in my opinion. It's so fucking good, and it will get you pumped up, and it leans 100% into the game and the mentality of the game. And I think that theme song is actually it's absolutely kind of fired up the fan base from the beginning. And man, you could just listen to that thing anytime and it'll fire you up. So I like this. I hope that the onslaught of hate that they're going to get doesn't make them back down and basically come out and say like, I've had to rethink my position, and diversity is our strength, and we do need more diversity. I hope that the wave of hate they're going to get doesn't make them back down.
Yeah, we'll see. Games journalists not very happy to start the year with these comments from Arrowhead Studios.
Yeah. Fuck games journalist. Fuck the mainstream legacy games journalism. They're the worst. There's a reason they're dying and they're not being taken seriously. And we continue to see them get roasted every single day. They deserve it.
Pirate of Las Vegas for 5. Ryan needs to do daily segments called What Grinds My Gears and just ran for 10 minutes.
That's pretty much every day for Ryan.
Tobias for 5. Hey, Ryan, what helicopter did you primarily use when you were in the Navy? I never stepped foot on a helicopter while I was in the Navy. I had nothing to do with any type of air operations at all. That was not my job. So I didn't use helicopters. Heard Zach and Mike talking about variations of hawks used per branch. Moo Boy Moo for 5. The poles in front of the store. Ballards, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Thanks for all you do, says Moo Boy Moo.
Thank you.
I wanted to say pollards. Taker for 5. I feel bad for Alden Ehrenreich when he met Harrison Ford. Ford says, get out of my chair, and Alden chuckles. Then Ford says, get out of my life. MZ for 5. Y'all, help me, please. Been following a year now. Never really been a gamer, but I'm looking into joining the dark side. What console do I get?
I mean, right now, that's probably a tough question to ask because, I mean, normally I would say the Nintendo Switch because the best combination, if you're on a budget, is a Switch and a PC. That's the best combo. I would not necessarily advise a Switch right now because you're going to get the reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2 very soon. So the PC is the best route to go right now. I know, shocking hearing that from me, but it is. I mean, because the PlayStation 5 is superior to the Xbox One, whatever the fuck it's called. But the PlayStation 5 has its problems too, lack of games, things like that. So I would hold off and kind of see what happens with the Switch 2 before you were going to fully commit to anything personally. What do you think, Ryan?
Just get a PS5.
Fuck PlayStation.
Yeah, if you're going to get a console, just get a PS5. We can get a Steam Deck. But, all right.
I prefer the PS5 over the Xbox, but Xbox offers a lot too with like Game Pass and things like that. So it really just comes down to what type of games you're into as well. Because I personally prefer the Switch, but like maybe you think the Switch is super gay and you don't want to play it for whatever reason. So it really comes down to what games you're into first and foremost.
Tobias for 10. Go listen to Jonathan Young's Helldivers 2 songs. If you really want some metal to slaughter bots and bugs too. Also, fun Easter egg. If you salute the voteless on death, they occasionally salute back.
I'll check it out.
There you go. All right. I think we're all caught up. Let me make sure we didn't miss anything over on Rumble. I think we're good. We're all caught up, Jeremy.
All right, so we're gonna go live over, or we're gonna stay live over on locals. I gotta update all of you guys on locals, so we're gonna be live for like 10 minutes over there. I want to give you guys some updates to some new content that we're gonna be bringing to locals for our exclusive locals members over there. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gonna do that. So we'll be live for about 10 more minutes over there. So if you guys want to come hop over there, I'll update you on what the plans are for 2025 on the content side over there.
Ditch for 5. Looking forward to G&G crew playing Helldivers 2 again for Liberty, and F Sony for what they did.
For Liberty. All right, Ryan, are we caught up?
We're caught up.
Okay, so we're going to end on YouTube. We're going to end on Rumble. We're going to end on Twitter, and we'll see all of you over on locals. Going to
Good
bed.
night,
Have
Jeremy
a good one. Hey,
Cyborg.
take it easy, brother. Thank you for that big MAGA red $100 super chat. Appreciate it. And all right, so have a good day, everyone. Have a great weekend. And we got Friday Night Tights. We'll probably have a gaming stream later. I'll have a Cobra Cast later. So there'll still be a lot of content for sure. So thank you, guys. Have a great day. I'll end on YouTube. Ryan, you want to end on Rumble? So
Sure.
Talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. And we're done on YouTube.